My fellow Deltans, I am Deacon Kawaribie Kennedy Pella, simply known as Ken Pella, and it's with a profound sense of faith and conviction that I present myself along with my running mate, Professor Mrs. Julie Nwabogo Umkoro, as candidates for the exalted seats of Governor and Deputy Governor of Delta State under the platform of the Labour Party. We are fully aware that our candidature comes amidst the thick fog of the cognitive inclination to the other better known parties in the state and their candidates. We are, however, also very aware that virtually every single Deltan agrees that we urgently need a drastic change in governance from the old order. The old order that has kept us in the dark space of underdevelopment and under which our people have been suffering in the midst of plenty despite the huge resources accrued to this state. This old order under which over 2.6 trillion, not billion, have been budgeted in 8 years between 2015 and 2022, with Delta State ranking number 1 or 2 in earnings, but number 26 in financial sustainability index. This old order, where 49.5% of the budget is for recurrent expenditure and only 50.5% is for capital expenditure. Simply put, in a budget of about 400 billion, about 200 billion, which is what other states spend as their whole budget is used for recurrent expenditure alone. This old order, where despite the huge earnings, Delta State is now one of the most indebted states in Nigeria, with a total debt burden of over 400 billion naira as at date, and debt per capita estimated at over 80,000 naira per citizen. That means each one of us in Delta currently owes about 80,000 naira each. This old order, where Delta State spent over 80 billion naira on overheads in 2019, with 33 billion of it spent on miscellaneous items. Clearly, the problem in Delta can be summarized as mismanagement of abundant resources, leading to a huge debt profile that will be exacerbated when oil diminishes in value in a few years. Now, in case we don't know, advanced countries, developed countries, have decided, for some of them by 2030, for some of them by 2035, that they would no longer use vehicles powered by gasoline. The situation on ground in Delta, more than ever, requires candidates with the 4 C's, and we believe that with my background as a financial expert stroke investment banker, a real estate developer, chairman of an IPP, and a director of a company involved in agricultural productivity enhancement, and that of my deputy, who is a professor of semiotics, we are both well equipped to deliver. It is against this background that as people come to hear about our candidature, they immediately realize that we are the alternatives they have been waiting for, and wonder why we are not better known to people, why there are no billboards, no publicity, etc. However, the truth is that Delta State is very unique, where the better known candidates are spending so much from what they have amassed from our commonwealth over the years that our modest efforts seem like nothing. Besides, over the last 3 months, we have erected over 40 billboards in strategic places across the state, and a lot of them have been pulled down by miscreant oppositions, all in a bid to discount and demarket us. Of course, we can't fight them, and we continue to move on. This is why I am making this broadcast this morning, to introduce us to Deltans and better acquaint you all with what we will do differently. Our vision is deeply rooted in the from consumption to production vision of our principal, and we have summarized it as simply to build a better Delta State where righteousness, harmony, and prosperity reigns. Now, you may ask me, how does this link with from consumption to production? What we intend to do is to enthrone righteousness in governance. Righteousness in Delta State. Now, when I talk about righteousness, I simply mean doing the right thing. That's what the dictionary meaning of righteousness is. doing the right thing. We'll enthrone accountability and integrity in government. We'll enthrone transparency and in governance. We'll enthrone fairness, equity, and justice in governance. We'll eliminate waste and corruption in government, and we will reorientate our people to the right values. We believe that when we enthrone righteousness, we will create a situation where there is harmony. And when you put those together, you will have a situation where will engender prosperity. Now, I could tell you about building roads. I could tell you about schools. I could tell you about all these things. But those are things that government is expected to do. So I will not tell you about those things. I will tell you about how, after we put in place the environment I talked about, we will drive the economy of Delta with 8 key prosperity drivers. The first of them is that we will pay a living wage. Now, we will all agree that the minimum wage as of today of 30,000 naira will not take care of a family of 4. It would not even take care of an individual, not talk of a family of 4. So we have determined that what will be a living wage will be a minimum of 100,000 naira per person to be able to take care of themselves and their families. And we believe that when we do this, there will be disposable income that will drive the economy of the state. And we will not owe salaries, neither would we owe pensions. The second thing is that we will make sure that we enthrone financial autonomy for the local government. We believe that when we do this and put in place the right things with accountability and integrity, when the monies that are expected that come into the local governments get to the local government, they will have enough money to drive developments at those levels, and we will match them with grants for the local governments that are doing well, so that those local governments will drive development. The third thing that we will do will be that we would put in place a social investment scheme under which we will give loans of 1 million naira each, interest-free loans of 1 million naira each, to 100 people per local government across the state. This will amount to 1,200 people in each local government in a year, 4,800 people in 4 years, and 120,000 across the state over 4 years. We believe that when we do this, to people, to the youths, to women, to people that are starting business, to people that want to expand their business, this will drive the economy of the state across every single local government. The first thing we will do will be to build 10 new cities. Now, we will all agree that Delta is turning into one huge slum, where Warri is growing into Agbaro, growing into Ogeli, growing into Saple, and it's all unplanned. So we intend to build 10 new cities. 10 new cities that are well-planned model cities. Now, why would someone not come to build a skyscraper in Warri, 40 stories? The problem will be, where would they put their waste? All right, so we're going to have central sewage. And those cities will have central sewage, and the sewage will, whatever comes from there, will be used to produce fertilizer that will drive our Greek economy. Those cities would also have provision for IT. They will be IT-driven cities. They will have SME parks. They will have agri parks, and they would have everything required to drive your business and drive tourism. In addition to that, we would work with power. Now, one of the biggest problems to driving prosperity or to driving the economy is power. So we will ensure that we have 24-hour power across the state, starting from those cities which will have 24-hour power. We will then revive our ports, because by this time, the economy will be doing very well, and we need to bring things in and bring things out. So the moribund ports that are not working today, we'll revive them and ensure that they're working, and we'll make sure